allure of our rural inland. Discover an agricultural heart that has created icons, where you can experience the tastes of locally grown delights. Find a fisherman's paradise and indulge in the simple pleasures straight from the boat, or immerse yourself in the Great Barrier Reef straight from the beach. Experience the triumphs, trials and fascinating tales of our history. Shop, dine, relax, stay and enjoy, and discover that sometimes a game on the beach can take away the worries of the world, because paradise is on your doorstep. Discover the Bowen and Collinsville region. We promise you won't want to leave.
I've just snuck into the cockpit, very palatial cockpit I must say as well, of the SUV Simrad. And a few people, knowing that I'm a Mercury man, might think I might burst into flames sitting in this Evinrude boat. But I tell you what, there's some nice gear in here, and I just thought I might run you through how these boats operate and a lot of the stuff that goes on in these cockpits. First thing is the cockpit. You can see all the roll bar, a lot of strengthening in here. These can withstand around about 6,000 Newton meters of force. The whole idea is that the cockpit doesn't cave in and protects the driver and navigator in the event of a rollover. You can also see some roll bars there as well, which, you know, in case of another boat running them over and going over the top of them, the canopy doesn't come in and collapse on top of the driver and navigator. So really important, they're super strong, and there's a lot of rules surrounding how strong these cockpits have to be, and you actually have to be a registered cell builder and build these things to a certain standard. You have to give them core samples and all that sort of stuff to the Australian Powerboat Association. Our laws around cells are actually more stringent than both the USA and Europe, so it's great that the APBA in Australia have such a good take on safety. So in this particular boat, steering wheel, pretty straightforward, pretty obvious, but if you have a look down at my feet, there's no pedals in this boat. They don't use pedals in offshore superboats. They use these fellas here. These are our throttles. Twin engine boat, obviously, a pair of 3.3 litre E-Tech Evinrude V6s on this particular boat, and you've got, as you would in your pleasure boat, this is actually the pleasure boat setup. It's got digital shift in this one, I think, throttle and shift, so basically in gear and then throttles this way. So, and you can sync them in this particular one with the digital. So I've got Big Leslie Binkin here helping me out as well, because he actually drives in this one, so thanks Les. But you can actually hit the sync button here and you can actually use just the one throttle to do both engines, which then synchronises both the engines. I guess that brings us over to the screen over here. You can see one engine, two engines, so port, starboard. You can see RPM. They're going to have water pressure, water temperature, anything they want. They can scroll through this screen and actually look at whatever they need to look at, whatever's going on at the time. Two big Simrad screens, so you can actually customise those to suit whatever you want to do. You can have your course on there, you can have engine data on there, you can have GPS speed, you can have engine functionality on there as well, and you've got both of them, so you can have one doing one thing, you can have the other one over here doing the other thing. Basically, throttle man sitting in this chair and he's using these throttles. Okay, he's also trimming the boat. So trim on this one. I might need some help here, I think, on the side button here, and also down here as well. These ones here. So you've actually got dual operation there for your trim. So you can actually trim the boat in and out, whatever you need, depending on the conditions. On a rough day, if you're punching into it, you're probably going to level the boat off. Nice smooth day, you want to trim the boat right up, get it sitting on its tail, get plenty of air coming down that tunnel and choking up and sitting the boat up nice and high, fly the nose nice and high on a calm day. So the throttle man is constantly working these throttles and also working the trim at the same time. Another interesting fact on this boat is that in this day and age of technology, once upon a time we had to rely on little mirrors that you really can't see anything in a boat because all you see behind you is just spray. These boats now have cameras, and you can see the reversing camera, we'll call it for want of a better term, sitting on the back of the cockpit there. You can see the two engines, you can see anybody coming up behind you. Still a lot of spray, still not quite as easy as what you might think. It all looks nice sitting here in the marina. You're in a race situation, can be a little bit different. So, why does the throttle man use the throttle and the steer the boat? The throttle man is looking from wave to wave. So he's, when the boat's jumping out of the water, particularly in rough water, he's having to come off these throttles and stop the engines going up to their rev limiters and exploding themselves effectively. So he's watching probably 100, 200 feet in front of the boat and working the throttles as they're jumping over the waves. Guy with the steering wheel, he's looking a lot further further ahead. He's looking for the turn boys. He's also looking for other boats around him and running strategy in the boat. So in these boats it's far too complicated to try and do both. Although there is a couple of guys that actually do it, none in Australia, there is a couple of guys in the States and also in Europe that do it as well. But most teams use the two-driver system and it seems to work really well. The other thing that these guys have, and Scotty, I don't know whether you can see down here, we use a face mask. So obviously the boat goes upside down. There's a face mask here and there's an air regulator. So if the boat goes upside down, air regulator comes from here into your mouth. Get yourself sorted, and the next thing you do if you're upside down is we have the hatch in the floor here, and you can actually see through this one, so it's quite interesting. It's got a Perspex hatch on it. You'd kick this lever here with your foot, you'd open that hatch, obviously the boat being upside down, you're straight out. This boat's actually been over twice, and the systems in this boat have worked perfectly both times. So, you know, these boats are super safe now, and thought that just might give you a little bit of an insight into what goes on in one of these 600 horsepower superboat outboard category boats. Hope you enjoyed it. Well, just walking down the dock and having a look at the for the final race of the weekend, race number 3 here at the second round of the Australian Offshore Superboat Championships. We've got all boats turned around. I've chatted to a couple of the crews, and a few changes, a few gear ratio changes and propeller changes have gone on in the pits. So Team Dynamic Racing, the issue for those guys and the reason they didn't get out of the pits until late for race number 2 was they had the MSD ignition box go down on them. They had a new box there, but obviously it took time to replace. They got out and got the race completed, which is fortunate for their championship hopes. But they want to get out there and prove what they're made of. They haven't been able to do that this weekend, so they really want to try and get up and get about in this final race of the day. Crowd is out here at Bowen and everybody's enjoying the beautiful weather. Wind dropped off earlier on, but just as the boats come out of the marina, you can see the wind just starting to pick back up a little bit. Spoke to Steve Kelly. He had a few interesting things to say. He's a driver of the TCR boat. He said the water between the bottom turn and the dog leg is very, very loose. It's very messy and very soup-like. So even though the conditions look relatively smooth from where we're standing commentary here, it is actually quite messy out through the dog leg. So it's going to be very interesting to see who can do the lap times. Had a little bit of a look at some lap times as well. This is really interesting. It's the fastest lap for the outboard boats was a 2:16 set by the Hulk, but the other 600 horsepower boats were running in that 2:18 category, 2:18 mark, and they were all very, very similar. It was more about consistency. The guys that ran the consistent times, like Saracen, got those lap times down in the 2:18 area really, really well, and it put them in good stead by the end of the race. So that was all good racing, and we're going to see some more fantastic racing in this one now as we see boats heading out in from the marina. This is round number 2, race number 3 here at mighty Bowen for the Offshore Superboat Championship. Run through the boats that we have, ladies and gentlemen, and the drivers. Maritimo 11 with Brendan Fryer and Ian Harris. Dynamic Racing, Andy Smith and Hayden Wild. The Judge, Matthew Turner and John Shand. Team 3 Racing, Lee Travascus and Matt Humphrey. And in the outboard category, the Hulk, Mickey Walker and Paul Folds. Saracen, Anthony Defina and Matt Kelly. Michael and Griffith L, the father and son combination in the Team 88 Racing. SUV Simrad with Ken Tree and Les Binkin, and TCR Offshore with Steve Kelly and Gavin Bricker. The adopter boat sponsors for these boats, the Judge running for Landmark this weekend. Abbott Point Operations are sponsoring Team 3. LPS are the sponsors of the Maritimo 11. Elders are the sponsor of the Maritimo 12. Jockheim's Pies are the sponsor of the Hulk. Saracen has Reefside Marine. Can you hear me all right down there, Reefside Marine, now? Are we okay? Good. I had a few complaints about not being able to hear me, which I never get at home, I've got to be honest. Team 88 Racing is a Puma Energy, and we'd like to thank Puma Energy at Rio Don, especially because they just brought down some more fuel vouchers, which ended up in VMR's pocket. So good on you, the team there at Puma Energy at Rio Don. Fantastic effort, and also the sponsors of Team 88 Racing. SUV Simrad is a place that we've frequented plenty over the weekend, and they are the Grandview Hotel.
Sorry. I'm going to say nothing.
Yeah, you say nothing, Con, because I'm going beautifully up here. He's trying to pull me up, folks. BIH Paul Hillary is the sponsor of the Dynamic Racing entry, so a massive shout out to him. And well, we've got boats heading out onto the course now, and it's certainly, we're looking for a pretty exciting race, I think, Con, as we head out now. The Dynamic boys, I think, for me, are the ones that are really going to want to prove their mettle here in this one.
Oh, absolutely, mate. And, you know, they don't have to back up for another race till October. So, yeah, it's going to be all out on this race, I think.
Mate, just a quick message too, and for some of the older offshore powerboat racers that may be watching on the live stream, or anyone that's here, just a little bit of a veil to Whippy, Brian Stevens, who was Whiplash. He was a fierce competitor through the 80s, particularly in those heady days when the World Championships were held here in Australia, and Whippy did a great job in his boats Whiplash, and was a real clubman for the Australian Offshore Powerboat Club down in Melbourne. Passed away last week, Brian did, and you know, there's a couple of hundred people at the funeral, Con, so you know, still even though he's in his 80s now, he's still a very well respected man. So big shout out there to Whippy Brian Stevens, who passed away this week.
Yeah, mate, it's a terrible thing, but I guess we're all going to end there, aren't we? So, but hey, if you can do offshore racing in the middle, between when you get here and when you go, that's a great life, isn't it?
Absolutely, don't worry, Whippy did plenty of that. He was an absolute superstar. Competed in the Pacific 1000 races, Con, which was, you know, amazing racing. 1,000-mile races up and down the Queensland coast, and back in the days before mobile phones too. So imagine organising your trailer crew and everything if you had a breakdown doing those races.
Oh, mate. That, between no phones and those GPS things, it was all on paper. Yeah. So I just couldn't even imagine doing. I can't even get out there and not hit a reef. So what chance have I got?
Well, we know that, mate, but that's why you were never invited to do a Pacific 1000. But you're too young. That's your excuse. I don't believe you. I reckon you're about 30 back in the 70s. But anyway, mate, we need to run through a few of our wonderful sponsors that have made the weekend happen, because there is so many that have happened. So our naming rights sponsor this weekend is Abbott Point Operations. So a massive thank you to those guys, along with sponsors that have been on board, and all these guys have been on board the Bowen race for many years now. North Queensland Bulk Ports, gold sponsor, and they've done an awesome job over many years now. The Grand View Hotel, another gold sponsor, along with SW Crane. I tell you what, old mate, our crane driver, he's had a pretty tough weekend. It's been bloody windy trying to get these boats in and out of the water.
Oh mate, I don't think anything stops old Stoney. He's just such a good guy, and he does such a great job for us, and he's just a legend bloke.
Yeah, and can drive a crane just quietly, which aren't the easiest things to operate.
No, mate, he is one of the best I've ever seen. Like, there's not even a word said when we put the boats in, and these guys are pretty excitable when their boats are involved.
Good on you boys there at SW Crane Hires. Thank you so much. The Mighty M's, Triple M at Townsville. Big thank you to those guys. They were the sponsor of the Street Festival last night, so big thank you to them. Whitsunday Regional Council. You can't do these races without having council backing and support. It just doesn't happen. And you'd have to say that the councils up in not only Bowen but up here in Queensland do certainly get behind offshore powerboat racing.
Oh, they certainly do, mate, and especially the Bowen one. I mean, these guys are just all over it. They are just legends up here, and the crowd, the Bowen crowd, we love you.
We do love the Bowen crowd, and I tell you what, if you need any good Mercury gear, Reefside Marine's a place to be. Tall, dark and handsome on any transom, Con. Fair dinkum, mate. If it ain't black, take it back. You know what I'm saying? The Adopt a Boat sponsors: Landmark, Grandview Hotel, Elders, Jockheim's, Puma Energy, Reefside Marine, Bowen Industry Hire, the Hillary Group, and Lehman Print Solutions. Big thank you to those guys. And the Judge, boat number 7, makes its way out of the marina. And I tell you what, if he didn't have a big ego before, Matty Tolo, he has got the big ego going now. He's ready to rock and roll, Con.
Oh, mate, it's going to be exciting because, like I said, it's going to be all out for this race. So hang around and watch till right to the end. It's going to be super exciting.
Okay, we'll just run through the Friends of the Superboats, and the Friends of the Superboats are GSL Aviation, Dale Last, Cortiva Agri-Science, Whitsunday's Ag Services, Bowen Tourism and Business, Queens Beach Hotel, Rose Bay Resort, Le Petit Dance School, the Bowen Hotel, Philby Motors, Mackay Tiger Moth Flights, Cruise Wit Sundays, Airlie Beach Skydivers. I'd like to also thank Paul and Jane Gibbs, our starters here in the Hogs Bay Start Boat. The best starter in the business is Mr. Paul Gibbs. The Judge team and the Simrad team both are contributing, Con, so thank you very much to you guys, as well as Kenny Tree contributing from KKR Transport. Pizza Hut in Bowen, Bowen Home Hardware, Refrigeration Technology, Steve Williams Plumbing, Tim Warren Auto, Pat McDonald Earth Moving, Bowen Tyre and Mechanical, the Central Hotel, Pilcher's Concrete and Zesty Designs. How good is Bowen? How many sponsors have we got on board just making this event possible here this weekend? So a big thank you to all the sponsors that are on board. Con, I make it 1:17, so around about 3 minutes to a race start. What do Team Dynamic have to do here?
Win, Dave. Pretty much win. And then they'll be the first to the North Queensland Cruising Yacht Club for a drink. I bet you that after all the dramas they've had this weekend.
Absolutely right. We do need to especially thank the North Queensland Cruising Yacht Club. It's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it, to spit out, especially after you've had a couple of JDs at the bar over there. But they do a great job, don't they? We love coming here and they're just so welcoming, and maybe breakfast this morning was awesome.
Oh, mate, mine was too. I just had a little drink over there and the bar's pumping, mate, but I'm sure it's going to be pumping straight after this race. So you want to get in there and line up early.
Absolutely right. We love it. We love you to support North Queensland Cruising Yacht Club. Thank you so much to all the old boys in there, Con. I was chatting to a few of them yesterday, they were asking all the questions about the boats and all that good stuff. They just love it, don't they? There's some old sea dogs in there, I can tell you.
Oh, absolutely, mate. There's more experience there than sitting beside me here, and that's hard to say sometimes.
What, you Scotty Lambert you're talking about? Okay, fair enough. So Maritimo, Dynamic, the Judge and Team 3 are the boats that we're looking for out of the Supercat Extreme category, and in our outboard category it is the Hulk, Saracen, Team ODA Racing, SUV Simrad and TCR Offshore. Talking to big Stavros Kelly, the Prey Mantis, Con, and they tell you what, he had a huge moment down here in the TCR boat, and Scotty Richardson, who was watching on the live stream at home, he's a chef of some note down in Melbourne. He said he threw a tray of sausage rolls across the kitchen.
Beautiful, Dave. That's that is what happens though as an owner, and you're sitting back and watching your boat, especially from 2 million miles away.
Big shout out Scotty Richardson, he's an absolute ripper. As I said, he's the reason I'm getting fatter, so thanks Scotland. But let's hope you don't have to throw any more food across the kitchen in this one as we get the boats organised and ready to bring it up onto the course. They'll go down into the middle of the area. Obviously no siding up today, they did that one yesterday. Wind coming up. Here we go, Con. We can pick them up now, and we have a lineup here at Bowen for the final race here this weekend, round number 2 of the Australian Offshore Superboat Championships. We'll keep our eye on the white flag flying high on the Hogs West Start Boat. Mr. Paul Gibbs, the best starter in the business. Jane Gibbs doing flag duty. Flag jumps, we're racing, and the Judge gets an absolute cracker as they put the hammer down now. Maritimo 11 on the outside. Team 3 get a cracking start. Dynamic finally get a good start and get away there as well, Con. As we hammer down into turn number 1, we are far abreast as we go down into the broad turn at the bottom end of this beautiful Bowen course. Great start, or a better start there from the Dynamic Racing team. Team 3 in the mix. The outboards are away. TSCR gets a cracker. 88 down the outside. Simrad, a beautiful start from them in the second spot at the moment. Then it's the Hog's Breath, or the Hulk I should say, and Saracen with a slightly bad start. Con, it is on, son.
It is absolutely on, mate. Look how close they all are. They're all got it to the wall at the moment.
Down into the bottom turn now as we tip in, and it is the Judge that I can see. Have a look at Team 3 just having a real big look up the inside of those guys at the moment. Short lap for all boats on the first lap. Things are going to get interesting. TCR, they are right on the hard on the pins there as well. Team 3 on the outside of them. Maritimo 11 in hot pursuit as we fire up into the dog leg. Con, I spoke to Steve Kelly. He said this straight that they're on at the moment is like absolute pea soup at the moment. He said it's very messy.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. There's a fair bit of a wind swell coming through, so or a wind chop, I guess. But in those boats, you really feel it, mate.
The Judge machine now has been absolute quality all weekend. Unfortunately, a pushrod failure in race number 1 saw them a DNF in that one. But they took the win in race number 2, and now they're out in front in race number 2. But I tell you what, Con, I am just watching Maritimo 11, and they look like they have found a little bit in the break.
Absolutely, mate, and I think Judge got the best start, definitely, but Maritimo's all over him at the moment, so yeah, it's going to be a really exciting race.
They are like a fat kid on a cupcake at the moment, Con. Don't worry about that. The Maritimo boys have a serious look up the inside. Dynamic holding out Team 3 now as well. So they go up through the top turn, and then the battle continues on in the outboard category. The Green Machine, the Hulk, pokes its nose into the lead, but I tell you what, there's a hungry pack behind them, headed by Saracen. Then it's back to 88 Racing and Simrad. TCR is in the mix there as well. You can throw a blanket over these guys as they go up. They're broken into 2 groups of 3 now. 11 now comes down through, just in hot pursuit. They've dropped into the wash of the Judge now. Who's going to do the long lap? Who's going to do the short lap, Con? We need to keep an eye on this one now. Dynamic comes through. They're running up into 3rd spot. Into 4th spot is Team 3. Then it's back to the race leader in the 600 horsepower category. It's the Hulk, but they are being absolutely hunted at the moment by the 2 Victorian boats. TCR, big Stavros Kelly. He's nearly pushing the sticks through the dashboard on that boat at the moment. Then it's Matt Kelly and Andy DeFina in the Saracen, doing a beautiful job. Then it's back to 88 Racing and Simrad in the mix here as well, as they fire down through the jetty end turn of this beautiful Bowen course. Tell you what, it's all going on here, Con.
It is, Dave, and looks like Maritimo's taken the short option and the Judge has taken the long option.
So that is long lap now for the Judge. So they need to do 2 long laps. Going to be interesting to see, because they really did dominate last time, but I think this extra little bit of pace here for Maritimo, now they have got a break. So this is an interesting tactic from Team Maritimo Racing.
Absolutely, mate, and look, it's always the way, the clear water out the front, that's what you want to be in. So they've done a really, really smart thing there. And look, you see how close they all get. Look, Team 3's just behind the Judge now after doing the long lap.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? So Team 3 not able to get past the Judge, which is going to be an interesting thing for them. I think they'll struggle to make up that ground, but the Judge still has to do another long lap, whereas Maritimo now, as Con said, with that clear water in front of them, they've really got a nice break there. This is a bigger break than they had last time around in the last race.
Oh, absolutely, mate. So, yeah, it just all depends who gets in the front, doesn't it? And look at poor Dynamic. She's caught up with the 600 boats there. They won't be overly excited to be trying to get past those guys.
Yeah, I'd say they've got a problem there in Dynamic, or have they done their long lap? I think they must have done their long lap as well. So, yeah, that's an interesting one, isn't it? And you're right, it puts them in traffic. So that's made life a little bit more difficult for them. Will this tactic from the Maritimo 11 pay off? They've got the fastest boat on the course hunting them down now, and they need to do their long lap. So they've got. Are they going to try and get a break? Let's keep an eye on them and see if they do their long lap on this race. But there's plenty going on all over the course. As Con said, Dynamic now thrown back into the mix with the airports. In fact, the Hulk moving up into 1, 2, 3, 4th outright at the moment, with Team 3 running into 3rd outright, and the Judge running into 2nd. So Dynamic Racing on the outside of these guys, but it's the Hulk. Have a go at this thing. Mickey Walker on Paul Folds. The Green Machine, mean and green, getting it done out in front at the moment. Dynamic comes around the outside of the Saracen now. Kelly and DeFina really trying to work hard. Where is Colonel Racing gone, Con? We've lost Colonel Racing. I can see him coming down the front straight away here. They have lost pace. Unfortunately, Colonel Racing have come right off the pace. They've been overhauled by Michael and Griffith Fowle, the father-son combination in the Team 88 Racing. Now they get overhauled by the Simrad machine as well. But it looks as though they're picking the pace up again. Have they had just a little bit of a faux pas? I'm not sure, Con.
Well, mate, yeah, sometimes they just go into limp mode. You've got to pull them off the gas and then go for it again, don't you?
Yeah, well, it runs the older 300X version of the Merc racing engine, so they don't have limp mode in those ones. So I don't know what's transpired there, but it doesn't look slow at the moment. It looks like it's just like had a problem and then got going again, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does, Dave. And it looks like Maritimo and the Judge took their long laps, and I think Andy did his short lap. So
yeah, there you go. So we've got the Judge. Has Maritimo done their long lap? I'm not sure. They did do the long lap. Thank you, mate. So that's Maritimo one long lap for them, and I would say the judge has done a long lap as well, so that's their 2 long laps done. So the judge now only has to do short laps for the duration of the race. Maritimo still has to do 1 more long lap. That's going to be interesting for them. Team Dynamic, I haven't picked up on, did you pick up on those guys? I'm not sure.
They didn't do the long lap then.
They've done 1 long lap and the short lap, so they've still got 1 long lap to go as well. They're just trying to make hay while the sun shines. So
The judge is out, mate.
oh, we got problems here at the top end of the course. Con just picking up the judge. Oh, devastating now for the judge. They have pulled out at the top end of the course as we just pick them up there. So this changes the complexion of this race completely now. Race leader Maritimo 11 into 2nd place, Team 3 into 3rd place, Team Dynamic Racing. Running into 4th place outright and leading the 600 category is the Hulk, with Saracen having a little bit of a cheeky look up the inside of those guys running in the wash of Team Dynamic Racing. So it's going on all over the place here at the moment. Con just getting the updates from race officials, so we'll try and get the word back from him on what's happened there.
The judge is out, but they do not require assistance.
Judge is out. Unfortunately, they are out of the race. We've heard word that they don't need assistance.
11's doing their long lap.
11 now doing their long lap. So Maritimo, that completes all of their long laps. Team 3 does another short lap. There's no requirement for them to do a long lap. It pulls them up alongside the Maritimo 11 again now. This is going to get really interesting. Looks like Dynamic do a short lap again. So it's going to be interesting to see. 600 boats come through now. Looks like TCR are back up and going again, but they've lost valuable ground there as they get going. TCR back in front of 88, then back to Simrad. So disappointing there for the judge, Matthew Turner and Johnny Shand. Johnny Shand all the way over from New Zealand. Matty Turner is from the Gold Coast. And I think they've had a pretty good weekend, to be honest. I'll be pretty disappointed at the moment, but gee, that thing's been like a shot dog all weekend, Con.
Mate, to be able to get a boat out and actually have the boat run so hard, so well, and reasonably not competitive, but really reasonably
yeah, it was relatively consistent, but it's been fast, mate. It's been really fast. They've done good laps. They've been super quick, and just, you know, I mean, it's a brand new boat, mate. I mean, it's an older boat that's been completely refurbished, so it's all new in there. So, you know, you're going to have your teething problems.
Oh, absolutely, Dave, and it's a credit to them to actually get it and to have it so fast out of the box, mate.
Disappointing for those guys, but the might of Team Maritimo continues on, as it seems to always do. This boat, the number 11 boat, probably one of my favourite boats going around. It is an absolute animal. Beautiful looking machine. Got the 6 drives. Have a look at this. Dynamic Racing now making a play for second spot as they come up off the starboard rear quarter of the Team 3 Racing entry. This is going to be interesting because Team Dynamic have not done their second long lap. Will they do their second long lap this time around, or will they try and make a break on these guys? Have a look at Saracen having a red hot dip here. In fact, they have got the Hulk, the green machine, being mean and green out in front, but they're going to have to hold off the hard charging Victorians in Saracen now as they fire down the jetty end turn.
Battle with the Simrad and 88. I couldn't see him before.
Yeah, nice little battle. You tell us on the microphone, Colin.
Sorry, mate. There's a nice little battle on going on with Simrad and 88, mate. I couldn't see Simrad because of the rooster tail of 88. I thought we'd fallen out again.
No, mate, no, you're there. You're there and you're good. TCR comes through. Interesting. Dynamic haven't done their long lap, Con. So they get in front of Team 3, but they've still got to do a long lap. It's going to get really interesting, isn't it? I think their tactic's going to be to try and get a good break on Team 3 and run that long lap.
Yeah, I think you're right, Dave. They're just going to get some clear water, I guess, and try and do that and keep in front.
So 88 still locked in this battle between themselves and the big blade powerboat machine, the Evinrude E-Tech powered Simrad machine, the SUV Simrad, with the newcomers in the cockpit in Kenny Tree and Les Binkin doing a fantastic job as they fire away. We go 10 minutes and 55 seconds into this 30-minute event, so still plenty of time to go on here. I think the real intrigue in this one is going to be how far can Dynamic get in front of Team 3 Racing, and then how far is their long lap going to set them back? When will they do the long lap? That's going to be interesting. Maritimo out in front, and for those of you on the bank, give a big round of applause and wave your hats and programs for boat number 7, the Judge. The Judge sponsored by Landmark, and unfortunately for the boys here, not able to get the job done, but Matthew and Turner and John Shand have done an awesome job this weekend. The big black machine. Disappointing for those boys, but they'll be back, make no mistake. Race leader in the 600 horsepower category just comes through now, the Hulk, big Mickey Walker. And I tell you what, we've got some serious support from Reefside Marine for Salison down here. I don't know what the other sponsors are doing, but you win the sponsor category, Reef Marine. She won't be able to yell at the kids this week, Con. She won't have a voice left.
No, that's it. She's done for it, mate. It's interesting to see 88 and Simrad. Simrad gets 88 when it must be really sloppy out in the back end of the course, because Simrad gets them and then 88 gets a little bit more speed and away they go.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Love to talk. Oh, what's happened up here?
Stay and enjoy. Discover.
Simrad. Has that gone over? Okay, we've had an incident at the top course, ladies and gentlemen. The Simrad unfortunately has gone upside down. So Simrad SUV for the Grandview Hotel has gone over. Ken Tree and Les Binkin. We'll hope the boys can get out okay. Just watching them now on our screen. So you see the boat there. It's currently upside down. I think we will probably see a red flag come out on the course, unfortunately. We've been running probably at that stage it went over around about 12 minutes. So red flag comes out, and that is disappointing. Hopefully we can get the boys out. Go into the boat. I want to see them get out of the boat, mate. Scotty, can we see the vision so I can see where they get out of right now? So incident on the course, unfortunately, just waiting to get confirmation the boys are out and okay. I only did their dunk test this weekend. I think I can see one helmet. One out of Simrad. I can see one helmet sitting in the tunnel of the boat, and I can see two. Both the boys standing up in the tunnel. So good news, Con. Do you need a hug? You okay? Mate, Johnny on the spot, you probably don't want to talk, but I'm going to talk to you anyway because you're here. But that's disappointing for you, mate, unfortunately.
Oh, mate, it is, but as long as the boys got out all right and everything else can be fixed, mate.
Yeah, look, hopefully it's hopefully not too much damage. I mean, you've been there before. You know what's required when you put a boat over. Tell us, what do you have to go through now? Like, what do you do with the boat now, once the boat obviously gets towed back in?
We get lots of fresh water onto it. We get the motors up and running this afternoon, and clean everything out, redo all the wiring, redo everything, mate.
Yeah, disappointing, mate. Sorry for that, mate. But unfortunately, that's offshore racing.
That's all part of racing, mate. And it's I'm just happy they got out, mate.
Yeah, good on you, mate. Well done, Con. Unfortunately, the boat there has gone over. The boys are okay. We'll get that boat tidied up and get it back into the marina. I'll get, Con's going to head off. Thanks for your help, mate. Appreciate that. We will see what's going to happen here. As I said, it was around about the 12-minute mark that the boat actually went over. I would expect probably a restart, but that is something that our officials will decide, not me. So red flag is out. We will take a short break. In terms of our live stream, we'll go to a few interviews that we pulled off this morning. And for you guys watching on the beach, maybe great time to go and grab yourself something to eat, something to drink, and we'll take a little bit of a break. As soon as I know when we'll be back, I'll certainly let you know, but we'll take a short break for now. Hope you're enjoying the racing, folks, and we'll be back real soon.
Collinsville region. We promise you won't want to leave. Discover a diverse place of stunning coastlines, a vibrant region of adventure. Discover an agricultural heart that has created icons. Find a unique hinterland with activities for all. Or immerse yourself in the Great Barrier Reef straight from the beach. Shop, dine, relax, stay and enjoy. Discover the Bowen and Collinsville region. We promise you won't want to leave. Discover a diverse place of stunning coastlines, a vibrant region of adventure. Discover an agricultural heart that has created icons. Find a unique hinterland with activities for all. Or immerse yourself in the Great Barrier Reef straight from the beach. Shop, dine, relax, stay and enjoy. Discover the Bowen and Collinsville region. We promise you won't want to leave. Discover.
Well, just walking down the dock and having a look at a few of the boats, and my man Hayden Wild, the main man in the dynamic excavations, you had a good run yesterday, mate, but probably, well, not a good start, but your run was fine after that, but you had a few issues.
Yeah, mate, we couldn't get the boat on the plane. There's a bit of a trick to it, and we think we've worked out why. So, mate, we missed the start by a mile, but then we started picking everyone up. I think we were, from what we gather, catching 3 or 4 seconds a lap on the Maritimo, but we just couldn't get there. We ran out of laps, so we've done a couple of changes today. So we've changed some gears that'll help us come out of the hole a bit better and accelerate a bit harder. It's a short course, so we're not getting to our top speed quick enough, so that'll hopefully help us today.
A couple of niggling little problems that you had to work on last night as well, maybe some electrical dramas?
No sort of major electricals, but we broke a flex plate on the flywheel, which is unusual, so we had to pull the bell housing off last night. I think we got home about midnight last night, but we're up and running. We're out there today.
It was interesting, seems to be the talk of the morning actually, mate. We just spoke to the Maritimo boys. I'm probably giving secrets away, but they've done a gear change as well. Yeah,
we're all running extra fuel for the 2 races today, and just with the shorter course, we only got 2 long laps today, so hopefully it'll help us on the shorter course.
Mate, that was an interesting dynamic, and I don't use the term as a pun, but with the extra laps going out there, how did you find that? Yeah,
it was really interesting. We really had to drive hard because we were going through trying to get round the outboard boats that were in front of us, and mate, they were going hard. So just trying to navigate our way through, and of course we'd missed the start, so we were last. And we started getting through them all, but it just makes us work a bit harder.
Well, mate, you did a great job yesterday. I think, a little bit of a faux pas at the start. You're still new to this game and you're learning as you go. Hopefully a big day today.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, we'll give it our best shot.
Good on you, Hayden. Good luck.
Thanks, mate.
Hello, mate.
Scar and a bit of blood on the end, If you like, lick your finger in. I think you need a bit more juice, but unless you head butt at the end as well, it might be in there 2 days. That's you must have hit here too, because it's head. We're going to have a piss in the morning, the door. What?
We've all been there. Okay, well, with around about an hour and a half to go to race start, I'm down with a man that was doing pretty well yesterday until you broke some stuff, Matthew.
Mate, we were stoked. I thought, full credit to the committee for the what we call the parity laps. And we were out front and the boat was absolutely honking. We were absolutely gutted when we threw a blade. But I guess, Bisho, as far as these things go, broken propeller's not the end of the world. It wasn't a broken engine, so we're back to fight again today.
So obviously yesterday they had a little bit of a look at the numbers. I see that it's been brought back to 2 parity laps this week today. We're just happy that they've brought it in, so we're not going to, argue too much. I think probably when the big Maritimo boat's running, that will really give us the yardstick of where this boat is compared with, let's say, the number 1 running boat. Let's just see what happens. I can tell you this, it was just a hell of a lot of fun to be in the hunt. So it's a good place, isn't it, too, Bowen? I mean, the town really comes out en masse and really gets behind this race.
Oh, mate, it was fantastic last night. The boats were on the street parade and we were up at the local pub. Yeah, you could just really feel the buzz in the town, and yeah, we're just really stoked to be here.
Well, mate, the boat looked fantastic yesterday. Unfortunately, broken props. When broken props happen, you don't tend to have ones that are quite as good as the ones you broke, do you?
Well, yeah, our good friends Maritimo have lent us some props, but I got to say we've lent them props before, so it's a bit of to and fro. So yeah, the difference is they are a different prop, and we're sort of taking a little bit of a guess with our gearing. But we've got a pretty smart man in Lee Travakis, and he's done his sums, and we reckon we should be on the money.
Well, if you reckon you'll be on the money and Trackers reckons you'll be on the money, I reckon they'll be on the money. Good on you, Matty. Good luck.
All right, cheers, Bisho. Thanks.
Thanks, mate. One of the fantastic things that happens here at the Bowen Superboat race is the Adopt a Boat program. Heaps of sponsors from all around town come on and adopt a boat for their racing. You can see over here, Scotty's just standing on the Hog's Breath. They've got Jockheim's Pies. But the Puma Energy Rio Don people have come on board the 88 Racing. They're an interesting story. Michael and Griffith L, father and son team, very, very competitive with smaller engines than the rest of the fleet. Had a massive spin out yesterday, and we'll bring you that footage. It was unbelievable that they stayed the right way up. Thought we might just have a little bit of a chat with Mikey about it. So, Mikey, just warming that engine up, mate. That one's obviously got a little bit wet yesterday. So, what have we had to do, please, mate?
We just had to run them up and clean them out. Started the engines and flushed them yesterday. Gave them a good power tune, which cleans all the internals of the engine. Make sure they're all good, because obviously drank a bit of salt water. But they're all good to go, and they've run up. Temperatures are good, pressures are good. We're happy days.
Which engine was it that had the issue?
So believe it or not, it was our port engine. So we had a gut full of water, but when we watched the footage back, our starboard engine actually went underwater.
Yeah, that's why I asked the question, because I did actually watch the footage last night. We will put it up on the live feed for you. But yeah, this starboard one went right under, and the port one was the one that copped it.
Yeah, it's a bit funny that way, but yeah, the starboard side of the boat, myself included, was underwater, and we checked out all the fish. They were okay, and it's all happy days though.
Oh, mate, very, very lucky. An issue up on that top corner, I mean, was it just the way the wind was blowing and the way the waves were coming in?
A combination of things. It was quite a tight turn. We were going in 3 wide. We were the inside boat, and I tried to hug the corner a little bit too tight, and the boat skipped and then dug a sponson, so we went round.
Yeah, mate, it can happen. It happens to the best of them. But I noticed that you were doing that tight line. I guess, you know, the fact that you had that pole and you were running less distance to everybody else was an advantage at that point.
Yeah, being a smaller capacity engine, we need to take all the advantage we can. And if we sacrifice the pole line to run a bit more speed out wide, we can lose the line on the race course, and that does hurt us.
I did speak to the Hog's Breath guys, and they felt like they were maybe a little over-propped, and they were running that wide line to do the opposite, to try and maintain that momentum.
Yeah, we actually found ourselves a little bit short on legs with propellers, which is another reason why we hugged a little bit tighter to get the tight corner and quick acceleration out. So we'll assess the conditions today and see if we can chase them down a little bit better.
Well, mate, it was a great race yesterday. Let's hope you can keep it straight today and try and give these blokes a bit of hurry up, eh?
Oh, we certainly will try. Thanks, Bisho.
Good luck, mate.
Cheers, mate.
A diverse place of stunning coastlines, a vibrant region of adventure. Discover an agricultural heart that has created icons. Find a unique hinterland with activities for all. Or immerse yourself in the Great Barrier Reef straight from the beach. Shop, dine, relax, stay and enjoy. Discover the Bowen and Collinsville region. We promise you won't want to leave. Discover a diverse place of stunning coastlines, a vibrant region of adventure.
Test 1 2 1 2. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we've just had confirmation from our officials that we are going to have a 15-minute race. So, dropping around about 2 or 3 minutes off the entire race distance, we're going to go out for a 15-minute race. So, boats are assembled back up in the milling area. Mr. Paul Gibbs, race starter, is good to go. All our rescue craft and police boats are all back in position, and we're going to get the boats back out on the water. We'll head out there now. So you can see the SUV Simrad just being towed in upside down. That's an unfortunate sight, but not an uncommon sight in offshore superboat racing. The boys are pushing hard. Unfortunately, poor old Leslie Binkin, he's had an absolute baptism of fire here this weekend. This is his first race weekend. He only did the cell dunk test yesterday morning, which I guess probably a good thing, still fresh in his mind, but he didn't really want to be doing it in real life. Unfortunately, that's what's happened here. So the Simrad boat, they'll get that back into the marina and get it going. So this is going to be interesting now, and I haven't spoken to the officials about this, but I am assuming at this point that the times for the two races will be combined. We'll just call the race as we see it, because we probably won't get that information immediately, but obviously stick around on the Facebook pages and the internet. We can certainly let you know, but I think, you know, race leader was the Maritimo 11, and I think they're going to be hard to beat from here. But Team Dynamic Racing was interesting, you know, they still had their long lap to go, so they'll be doing a long lap in this one. Boats pick themselves up out of the water. Start boat, the Hog's Breast start boat, Paul and Jane Gibbs, best starters in the business, waiting for the flag to drop. White flag still up. Go! White flag drops. We are racing here at race number 3, round number 2 of the Australian Offshore Superboat Championships, and a perfect start. Maritimo blows their doors off out of the start line here at Bowen as they fire down into turn number 1. Team 3 gets an absolute cracker. A nice little start there for Dynamic, who will sneak up the inside of Team 3. I tell you what, Team 3, leave them plenty of room. Have a look at the 600 boats. You can throw a blanket over them. TCR bursts through the pack there. It's the Hulk out in front. Back to TCR, then Saracen, and 88 on the outside of them as they fire down through the jetty end turn here at Bowen. And a beautiful start from everybody concerned. The judge back into the pits now, obviously. I can hear that boat running, so they've obviously just solving their issues. Hopefully nothing too major for those guys, but unfortunately they're going to miss the kick on the rest of the race here now. Maritimo 11 heads into the dogleg straight now with Dynamic up the inside of those. Dynamic need to do that long lap still. So Team 3 don't need to do the long lap, and they are only probably about 10 boat lengths behind at the moment. Then all of our outboard boats, an absolute gaggle of them. You could throw a postage stamp over the lot of them as they go down through the dogleg turn. Maritimo 11 fires away up the back straight away now. Maritimo 11's Adopt a Boat program sponsor, LPS Printing. Big thank you to the team at LPS. Dynamic Racing, sponsored by BIH Paul Hillary. Then it's back to the Team 3, sponsored by Abbott Point Operations, also our naming rights sponsor here this weekend. Up through the top turn, and it's interesting, Dynamic run a slightly wider line, so the Maritimo 11 boys really running that tight line and keeping the boat travelling as little distance as humanly possible now. So Maritimo, Brendan Fryer and Ian Harris, they've had a tough weekend, but they are making hay while the sun shines at the moment. The beautiful stern drive Maritimo boat. It's almost like the last man standing. Dynamic still going around after a super tough weekend here at Bowen as well. Dynamic getting it done. Team 3 now come through. Now, Dynamic have to do a long lap. They've only got 15 minutes to get this race done. The battle in the 600 horsepower category now is the Hog's Breath. Hulk, the green machine, on the outside. The Saracen on the inside. TCR still working overtime in third spot at the moment. Team 88 Racing, Michael and Griffith L, they've found a little bit of pace, but the smaller boat, you can see, copping a couple of big hits out there now as this course starts to chop up a little bit here at Bowen. Up through the dogleg turn now, and it is Maritimo 11 back to Dynamic. Through the bottom turn is Team 3 Racing, so Dynamic choosing to do a short lap still, and they are in hot pursuit of the 11. Unfortunately for them, they're going to have to do that long lap. And I think 11 may have to do a long lap as well. I'll get confirmation from the officials on that one. But I've heard the word that both these boats will have to do a long lap, so that's going to be interesting to see. Team 3, of course, with the 525 horsepower Mercury Racing engines, do not have to do that extra lap. Well, the extra long lap, I should say. So up through the top turn, it is going on all over the course at the moment. The Hulk back to Saracen, back to TCR. Then it's 88 Racing. Unbelievable start from the outboard boats. Firing up into the front chute now, and it's Maritimo 11. Dynamic Racing really giving them some hurry up now. I tell you what, this Dynamic boat is just coming of age this weekend now, at the end of the weekend. Down through the jetty end turn here at Bowen. Dynamic. It's like a warrior, this boat. They just keep trojaning on. Wind coming through. Few white caps out on the course now. Team 3, they'll be waiting for these guys to do their long lap. And that will shut the gap up quite nicely for them. Can they take advantage of it? Matt Humphrey and Lee Travascus. Out in front, Paul Folds and Mick Walker in the Hulk. Being mean and green. Getting the job done. Being hotly pursued there by the Saracen. TCR Racing running into third, just not quite the pace required at the moment. But looking good, those Mercury 300Xs sounding absolutely beautiful as it fires down through the jetty end turn. 88 Racing, Michael and Griffith L, father and son combination. Doing a great job as they come through. Ladies and gentlemen, if you cast your eyes across to your left, you'll see the Simrad and Kenny Tree and Les Bingham. Give it up for them, ladies and gentlemen. Wave your hats and programs. They're up there, they're safe. They can't hear you probably, but they can see you, so wave your arms. They'll be very, very disappointed in that. But that is offshore powerboat racing. And there's only two types of offshore powerboat races, ladies and gentlemen. The ones that have been wet and the ones that are going to get wet. And they've got themselves wet today. Front chute now as we fire away. It is Maritimo 11 doing it in fine style now. The might of the Team Maritimo operation for LPS Printing. Doing an awesome job. Lots of wonderful sponsors here this weekend. Lehman Print Solutions, the sponsor of this particular craft, along with other Adopt a Boat sponsors, Landmark, Grandview Hotel, Elders, Jockenheims, Puma Energy in Rio Don, Reefside Marine, the Bowen Industry Hire, the Hillary Group, and Lehman Print Solutions, as I said, doing a wonderful job here this weekend. Team 3 ticks off another lap. So Dynamic Racing has been overhauled by Team 3, so I'm going to say Dynamic have done their long lap now and they are back into hot pursuit. That puts Team 3 back up into second spot, but Dynamic is all over the Hulk. Comes through, still leading the 600 horsepower category. Back to Saracen, back to TCR. Anthony Defina and Matt Kelly in the Saracen out of Melbourne in Victoria. Doing an awesome job. Flying the flag for us Victorians here. TCR now come through, another Victorian boat, which is Stephen Kelly and Gavin Bricker. Gavin Bricker, a wealth of experience in ski racing, boat racing, tunnel boat racing, and now offshore racing as well. As we go on board, we see some shots on the live stream on board as well, so fantastic stuff. 88 now, Michael and Griffith Thal, they just come down through the bottom straight. Have a look at this, Dynamic Racing. If we cast our eyes across to the dogleg, Dynamic just poke their nose up the inside of Team 3. So Lee Travascus and Matt Humphrey just have to concede a place there as they drop to the outside in the Team 3 racing entry. 11 still out in front. I tell you what, 11 is being harassed. Dynamic is on the hard charge. Hayden Wild and Andy Smith, they have absolutely got the bit between their teeth now. Can they catch the Maritimo 11? They are making ground on them. I'll tell you what, Team 3 pokes his nose up the inside and gets going and makes a little bit of ground back on Dynamic as they come up through there. Unbelievable stuff here at Bowen for the final race of the day. Race number 3, round number 2 of the Australian Offshore Superboat Championships. Maritimo down through the bottom turn. Okay, so we've been running for around about 10 minutes in this 15-minute event now. So it won't be long until we see probably another few laps, and we'll see a last lap from these guys as Mean and Green gets the job done beautifully. Down through the jetty end turn here at Bowen. Saracen still in hot pursuit, just trying to get it done. Saracen's been ever consistent this weekend. They just haven't quite had the pace to get around the Hulk machine, but I tell you what, the Saracen has really shown a good turn of speed here this weekend. So too is TCR. It's an older boat with older engines. I tell you what, Gav Bricker and Steve Kelly, the two old stagers, really doing a beautiful job in the 28 skater. Big shout out to boat owner Scotty Richardson. He's home there in Melbourne, just cooking up a storm today. Up through the top turn, and we've got 88, Michael and Griffith Thal doing a good job, but the real race is on at the head of the pack in the Supercat Extreme category with Maritimo 11 in front. But I tell you what, there is a hard charging Dynamic Racing coming at them. Andy Smith and Hayden Wild, they have a look at the inside. This is unbelievable stuff. Maritimo 11, they try and hold them off. They haven't got long to try and get the job done here, but I tell you what, Dynamic is absolutely on the hard charge. Unbelievable stuff now. The Maritimo 11 is going to have to get their dancing shoes on if they want to pull away from the Dynamic machine. Dynamic look like they're very, very strong up through the dogleg. Maritimo makes a little bit more of a break on them down the front straight away. But I tell you what, they're going to have their wits about them. Dynamic, Wild and Smith having another look on the inside line there. Trying to run the shortest route possible around this course here at Bowen. Team 3 have dropped out the back door just a little bit at the moment with Lee Travascus and Matt Humphrey. The Hulk just getting it done, the green machine. Mickey Walker and Paul Folds, P2. Just loving life out there at the moment at Bowen. This boat is a rocket ship. I'll tell you what, it'll get sent to NASA as a moonshot soon. It is super quick. Saracen running hard as well. Getting it done very, very nicely for Reefside Marine. So Reefside Marine, good to have them on board with good Victorians, isn't it? We might make you a good Victorian for the weekend by looking over here in the commentary box. Have a look at Dynamic Racing though. This is where the real battle is here today. And this race right now, as we come down to the wire, Dynamic poked their nose up. There is only 3 boat lengths in it now. Maritimo 11 need to be on their game. Can they get the job done? Watch them come into the top turn here. Dynamic poke their nose up the inside again. Oh my goodness. I'm going to need a lie down if this continues on, because it is insane out there at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. Dynamic up the inside. Maritimo, have a look. They need to go. They need to get their pedalling shoes on. Maritimo seem to have good acceleration out of that top turn. Dynamic just trying to go with them. The acceleration of the Maritimo boat down this front chute is absolutely unbelievable. In fact, they get a big break. There is a big rooster coming out of Dynamic. I hope they haven't had a problem here. Looked like it might have just been over trimmed a little bit, trying to get maximum attack out of this boat. So Maritimo claw back some track position. Dynamic seem to be very, very strong down through the bottom turn and up through the dog leg. Team 3 just come around Michael and Griffith L in the 88 power zone entry. Matt Humphrey and Lee Travascus doing a nice job in the Team 3. A little bit less horsepower than the 2 big bangers out in front of them with the 525 Mercruisers, but doing a nice job all the same. The Hulk now just going on their merry way, still looking mean and green. And getting the job done. Big Mickey Walker, the farmer out of Queensland. Just hammering away, giving a driving lesson to the rest of the teams here. Saracen come through, tick off another lap. They just can't bridge that gap, but they've got a good break on TCR now. Won't be long now till we see probably a last lap for Maritimo 11. 11 have found some pace. I think they've seen Dynamic pull up alongside them and thought, gee, we got to get going here. And they have. They've got a good break now on Dynamic. Can Dynamic come back at them? They haven't been as strong up through the dogleg as what they were in the previous 2 laps. Up through the top turn we go. Team Dynamic Racing in the hunt with Maritimo 11 out in front. Down the front chute now, and this is where the Maritimo 11's been super strong. Checkered flag comes out, ladies and gentlemen. Stand up, wave your hats and programs. Maritimo 11 takes the win at Bowen. Number 3. Back to Dynamic Racing into second place, a hard charge from Andy Smith and Hayden Wild. Maritimo with Brendan Fryer and Ian Harris. They park it up, fantastic effort. So, Maritimo 11, LPS printing their adopter boat sponsor, along with Dynamic, BIH Paul Hillary into 3rd place for Abbott Point Operations. It is Team 3, ladies and gentlemen. Matthew Humphrey and Lethal Lee Travascus. And just on a lap down, we're going to see Michael and Griffith L coming through in the 88 Racing for Puma Energy at Rio Don. But on the outside of them, mean and green, ladies and gentlemen, the Hulk, an absolute domination from Mickey Walker and Paul Foles as the Hulk takes the win in 600 horsepower. Michael and Griffith L into 4th place as they come through. The Hulk sponsored by Jockheim's Pies. I'm going there for one now. 88 Racing getting the job done for Puma Energy Round. On 2nd place, it's Saracen, ladies and gentlemen, for Reefside Marine. Thank you so much to Reefside Marine. We love having you here. And we love that you're honorary Victorians. 2nd place there for the Saracen. And bringing it home hard, the boat that's got more sponsors than you to poke a stick at, ladies and gentlemen. TCR, Steve Kelly and Gavin Moonhead Bricker. For Bowen Home Hardware, Ref Tech, Steve Williams Plumbing, Pizza Hut Bowen, Tim Warren Auto, Pat McDonald Earth Moving, Brooker Motors, Bowen Tyre and Mechanical, Central Hotel and Pilchers Concrete. They're greedy for sponsors, these blokes, but they do a great job. And that is the final boat home. Ladies and gentlemen, we certainly hope you've enjoyed the racing today as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. Get down, check out the boats in the pits, come and chat to the drivers. They're all pretty friendly blokes. Most of them are fairly ugly though, but don't be scared of that. Get down, say hello to them, and they'll enjoy the rest of the day. There's still plenty going on here at Bowen. There's still plenty of food, there's plenty of drink. Get into the North Queensland Cruising Yacht Club. You can have a feed and a drink in there as well. Enjoy the ambience. We're going to be doing a trophy presentation a little bit later on as well, and should be a great rest of your afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen at home that are watching on the live stream, we certainly hope you enjoyed the racing today as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you as well. Massive shout out to the Australian Offshore Powerboat Club, to all the guys and girls that do all the massive amount of work here at Bowen. It is an amazing job. Boris the Boxer, Big Scotty and Paul here, fantastic job boys, thank you so much. To all the organisers, Russell and Dennis and Aaron Hill in the tower that made it all happen, and of course our number one people, our race teams. A massive thank you to those guys. You do a great job, the boats look fantastic. We certainly hope you've enjoyed the racing.
Find a unique hinterland with activities for all. Or immerse yourself in the Great Barrier Reef straight from the beach. Shop, dine, relax, stay and enjoy. Discover the Bowen and Collinsville region. We promise you won't want to leave. Discover a diverse place of stunning coastlines, a vibrant region of adventure. Discover an agricultural heart that has created icons. Find a unique hinterland with activities for all. Or immerse yourself in the Great Barrier Reef straight from the beach. Shop, dine, relax, stay and enjoy. Discover the Bowen and Collinsville region. We promise you won't want to leave.